Hello, all. Well, I'm about to clean up my kitchen. It is 12:07. I went out last night, met my friend and her boyfriend at an American Legion, and they had a band, and they were not good. Wouldn't say they were terrible. They weren't good. The place was not. My friend's like, oh, it's usually packed in here. And well, people probably heard this band before. So I'm actually, what I'm talking to, look, my refrigerator with all my magnets. Oh my God, some of these need to be rewashed. It's annoying. I'm emptying my dishwasher, which, that's what I keep forgetting. Finish. Ugh, sorry, I have where is my marker, black marker? I think this is black. Well, it might be gray. So I went out, met them. They ordered pizza. I was good. I asked them to get me a salad, just a plain salad. Finish. Rinse. So I can get rid of that honey. I got some honey, so I can check that off my list. So I normally put it in my phone, but can't do that right now. Oh my God. This did not come clean. I don't know what the issue is, but, and this did not come clean. Oh, I don't know. This might have been, I was gonna wash these again, and some are cleaner, some are dirty. That might be the deal here. Yeah, I think I was washing these again for whatever reason. I think because they didn't clean so well the first time. But, so that's the ones I kept in there. And this is a Pampered Chef small one, and it's, you can do, but I don't understand why this won't go in. There we go. It's a tiny one. So only up to, well, this says for solids. So you push this down and measure. It should tell you. Wow. But, okay. So I went out last night. I got distracted easily. Can you tell? So, oh my God. The band was not that great. We went back to her place, and I had coffee. He had coffee. She had some more to drink. But she started to tell him the story of one guy that I met, and then, of course, it went into other stories. Which, sorry, I hope my ass isn't in, your face is there. But this is clean. Yeah, so she was telling him some stories of the wonderful guys I met and their nicknames, like Backpack Boy, Mama Took My Phone Boy, Chapstick Guy, which all of you have heard all about. And so he had a good laugh out of that and could not believe that these were like true, actual people that I had met. And I was like, oh, trust me, they is real. So, yeah, so that was like a shocker for him. This is clean. Yeah. So I'm sorry, because I'm going back and forth and trying to talk to you and, do that and have a drink. Not a drink, it's iced tea. Sorry. So that was fun. And then my friend asked me to go to dinner tonight. So I've decided if I'm not doing anything, I'm not just sitting in the house. I really could have been doing this because I've kind of made a mess of this kitchen because I've been cooking and not, you know, just piling the dishes in the sink, which is really not how I should be doing it. But I really just let it get away from me, of course. So this is my goal because my friend who I went out with last night, she is she will say how she thinks it is or isn't, if everything isn't together yet, whatever. So, I really want to have it. I hung my aunt and my cousin, when they came for girls' night, gave me, they're kind of on this gray whitewashed boards, and they're mason jars that you kind of hang from the hook that's on the very top of them. And it has rope to hang them. I put command hooks, and they have like the twinkly lights and then flowers that go inside. And I hung the command strip hooks Thursday night because I wanted them to set for a while, since these things are not heavy, but they have some weight to them. So I wanted to do that. And so I just hung them up today. So I think they look pretty darn good, especially because the room is like gray and they look so even, which I love, which I measure and stuff to try to make them even. They're like this, like they're really like this much to the edge where my sliding glass doors start. So they're like both look perfectly the same distance, you know, that they have from the wall to the opening. So perfect. So tonight we went to an Italian place. He got me my hopes up to go to this place, the Mule Barn, which is supposed to be really good. But they're closed this week for kitchen upgrades renovation. So, sorry, I'm so thirsty. I do not know why. And so I really, you know, we had fun. Just me, my friend Joe, and Eddie. And we had a good time. So I'm going to do these cups. Really don't have to put them through the dishwasher, but I'm going to. What the hell is that fell? Oh, it rolled. That's weird. But I am. Move this bowl a little bit. I know. Isn't this what you wanted to do? Watch me. So, I have really decided that I am gonna like kind of rearrange this kitchen a little bit. I got for my KitchenAid, I got a cover for my KitchenAid, a gray one, which my counter is gray and black. Kind of hints of grayish brown. All right, people brought these. What is this? There's like a lip here. People bought these to me. And so they're just gonna go up there. And I'm just trying to get all this stuff. I have my laundry basket things came, so I have to get them in there. I really, oh my God, I really don't know how I'm gonna get all this stuff washed. But this is fine. But I have to. I really do. I kind of cook so much that everything doesn't fit in one cycle. And this takes like 3 hours. So I always feel like I'm behind. And I don't like it that I'm feeling behind. So I'm actually going to take the smaller stuff and put it to the side. And the bigger stuff, I'm going to try to get that in there because it's just disgusting. I can't even tell you. Because I piled everything in here and I really want to get this big, I don't know what the hell this is. It smells like dog food. Oh my God. This big pot. Sorry. I want to try to get that in there because I have another big pot. And I don't think anything else can fit, really. Well, this might be it. But it's just, maybe not. Okay, maybe, my God. Ah, there we go. One more lid. I don't think I have a lid. I do have a pan. Ha, got it. So I'm gonna run this. Take the 3 hours, make it a point in the morning to get up and really unload the dishwasher, reload it. I am going to my sister-in-law's for dinner, which usually isn't until like 3 o'clock. So I have plenty of time. I just have to get motivated in the morning. So, this is here. This is, sorry, I know. This is a lid. This pot. Part of my problem is one of my shelves collapsed, where I've been keeping some of this stuff, so kind of had to move it, which is annoying. And then tomorrow night when I come home, I'm going to wash the stove down, might start cooking some of the stuff because she's coming for dinner Monday, and I just love that my KitchenAid is covered up because it makes it look neater in here. Oh, I need more iced tea. I think I need a bigger cup. And I actually have disposable cups, which I'm going to use so I don't create more dishes for myself that are going to get piled up. And actually before I went to pick up my friend, I went to the dollar store and I found some things for the baby shower. And I also, because my dog's food that I've been making kind of ran out of it and didn't have some for tonight. And I knew I was going to go to the store after dinner, but I'm so sorry. But my friend said, don't come till 4:30. At first he told me 3:45. She's like, oh, don't come, because we couldn't go to the first place. So he knew second place was fine to get there at like 5. Because, Saturday night. He said after like 6, it usually gets crowded. So, sorry. I have to wash my face yet. So I was like, okay. So I said, you know what? I was going to go to the dollar store after dinner, but I'll go now. So he's like, okay. So, shit. I had to put my drink down. I spilled it on my thing. So I did that. And I'm in the dollar store. And this lady isn't, I actually let her go in front of me online because she had like these 3 big alkaline water bottles. I mean, they were like 2-liter bottle, but like thin, not awkwardized, but tall. And then like 2 other things. So she's like trying to hold the things in her hands and got these bottles. And I said, oh, go ahead in front of me. She's like, oh, you sure? I'm like, yeah. So she puts her card in, declined. Lady said, I'm sorry, it didn't go through. And she's like, oh, I always have this problem when I come in this store and I use this card. So I'm thinking to myself, then why do you use this card in the store? So, excuse me. So then she says, do you want to try again? And she's like, yes. Okay. She takes her card and she does it again. So, I'm sorry. I had this standing here. So, I was like, okay. So she does it again and she's like, look, and I had my glasses on so I could see. Card declined. So she's like, oh, I really don't understand it. Why every time in the store this happens. She goes, I'll run out to my car and get a different card. So I'm thinking, if you knew this, why didn't you just get the other card? So she takes the stuff and she goes, I'll leave it right here. I'll be back. And she goes out. So the lady's waiting and waiting. And she's like, I'm sorry. It was like, no, it's fine. And she was the only register open. So turn around then and it's like 5 minutes. So her manager comes out from the office and she's like, listen, this woman, the one card didn't work. And she said she was going to get another card, but it's been like 5 minutes. He's like, oh, okay. And he calls some other woman and she comes out. He's like, you have to open the register. She's like, I can't do anything until, So he's like, oh, is she coming back in? And she goes, I don't know. It's been over 5 minutes. So I was like, okay. So he goes, I'm just going to cancel the order. She comes back. She'll have to wait in line again. Okay. So he cancels the order. And then he goes to ring up my order. And the cashier, she says, I don't know why, if that card doesn't work all the time, why did she use that card? And I was like, I don't know, because if mine didn't. I said, I had an issue one time, 3 different stores, and it turned out that, the card system was down. And they're like, oh, it's declined. And it wasn't, it was a glitch in the whole card system, because the 4th one, they're like, oh, I'm sorry, there's, our card reader is down. We can only take cash or checks, just to let you know. And, someone was standing at the what do you call it? When you come in. So, at the door. Sorry, I couldn't think of the word. I don't know why. So, okay. So, I was like, oh, that must have been the issue. I said to the person at the door, I was like, 3 other stores I was just in, and I know I have money in there because I showed the last person, like, I don't know why it's happening. And I called Chase and they're like, nothing on our end, nothing's come through. So it was just declining everything. And it wasn't even, trying to go through. So, okay. So I get it. But when she didn't come back, it was like a $6 and something purchase. But listen, hey, I've been negative, as you people know. So I understand if you're negative, if you don't have the money, just say, oh, I'm sorry, this is the only card I have on me. I'll have to come back. But don't say I'm going out to my car and I'll be back in with another card. And she's like, oh, okay, just leave it there. I can't ring anybody else up until you come back in. Oh, okay. Instead of saying, oh, no, just cancel the order and, I'll have to see if I have another card or something. Make up something, or I'll have to come back. This is the only card I have on me, but no. So, whatever. But in the dollar store, there was this guy, and it seemed everywhere I went, he was in the aisle. And so, like when I would go to looked like he was looking at me. When I'd go to look at him, turn my head to look, and he was, there he is looking at me. And then he was like, whatever. Then I went in Walmart. Well, let me tell you, these Walmart workers know nothing. Because I said to this one guy, do you have unsweetened iced tea? I didn't see it. I usually get Pure Leaf, and it's like a half gallon. And I like the unsweetened. I don't like this, the sweetened. And no, we don't have. And turned around and, nothing else. Or, usually people in the store will say, oh, if it's not there, we don't have it. Sorry, or it must be out, whatever. Then I look at the very bottom and I see a 4-pack of the Pure Leaf. And I see there's a bunch of 4-packs of unsweetened. But it's like $9.98 for 4 packs when I know I only pay like at the most $4.50 for a half gallon. So I'm like, I am not paying almost $10 for these 4 that'll probably add up to a half gallon when I usually pay $4.50, half that price, for, the half gallon. So I went with green tea. So I know that's not decaf, but the other isn't decaf either. So then I go and I'm like, I got the peas and carrots for my dog. I have the rice already here. So I got actually ground chicken because it was cheaper than a pound of, they actually had like kebab chicken. So it was cut up into things. So I'm like, oh, that's even better. Because I figured I can cut the kebabs in 4s because they were like squares, cut them in 4s to throw them in to boil them. Because when they're frozen, they're easy to cut. So I should say partially frozen. I would have left them out for a little while, for about half hour, and then they would have softened up a bit, or maybe an hour or so, and cut them, and then let them defrost, and then throw them in to boil them. So I'm like, oh, you know what, this is easier. And like I said, I have the rice, got the peas and carrots, and the ground chicken. So then I was like, oh, you know what, sweet potatoes. Someone said they put sweet potatoes with their dog stuff. So I'm like, oh, okay. And I'm thinking frozen sweet potatoes. No, not a thing. And I didn't want those canned ones, the canned yams, because they're not sweet potatoes. So, and now that I'm thinking about it, I could have baked like 4 sweet potatoes and mashed them. But whatever. So I see sweet potato fries, sweet potato taters, like the tater tots. And I don't see sweet potatoes, And I'm like, oh, the fries, I don't know how well that would go over with her. So I go over to the next aisle. And there's a guy loading stuff in the freezer. And I said, oh, excuse me, do you have, like you have the frozen peas and carrots and broccoli and cauliflower and the melodies and everything, all the frozen vegetables. Do you have frozen sweet potatoes? He's like, oh, yeah, next aisle, right when you go in the aisle, on the right. I was like, no, not French fries or the tater tots. Frozen, like, sweet potatoes. He's like, oh, yeah, over in produce. I go, they're frozen? Oh, no. He goes, there's sweet potatoes over there. And I was like, oh, okay, but that's not what I'm looking for. But thank you. And I walk away. But there was no ground chicken. And there was ground turkey. There was ground beef. There was ground sausage. There was just about everything ground. Veal, and pork. So I went to the guy that was putting up stuff. Gotta give you a pass on this one. It is 12:32. So I said to him, oh, you don't have any ground chicken? And he's like, oh, I'm not really sure, but let me look in the back for you. I said, oh, thank you. So he can say, oh, we had a box in the back. How many do you need? I said, oh, just one, thank you. So he's like, oh, you're welcome. Now, I don't want to assume, but this guy was like, looked tired. He was like, doing stuff and keeping busy, it seemed, all through my shopping trip, because I kept going back and forth, because there was one thing I wanted to look for, and of course I couldn't remember, so I'm like going up and down the aisles again, thinking, okay, but no. So I turned around and I said, all right. So whole time, this guy's really working, and he's like like I said, going fast, keeping busy, everything. So I'm thinking, okay, this is his full-time job, or he does look tired, has a wedding ring. I don't want to make assumptions, but I'm like, maybe this is a second job for him. Maybe he's working 2 jobs, to support his family. And from what I understand, Walmart pays like $18 an hour. Could be wrong, but that's what I heard. So I'm like, okay, these other people that were so useless, so whatever, it's probably their full-time job. They were adults. Like, they look like they need, they are full-time. They should be full-time. I don't want to assume. Could be their part-time job. Could be their second job. I don't know. But, and then I went over to another section. I was asking, and again, I don't know. Every time I'm in there, I get sent to the wrong part, or I don't know. And I'm like, you work in this department? Yeah. It's like, oh my gosh. So I don't want to put down all Walmart workers, because I'm sure, like I said, this one guy was great, fantastic. So I don't want to say that this is a stereotype of all, but since I've lived here and gone in Walmart, which is maybe anywhere from 5 to 10 times, I have not had good experiences with asking for stuff. Like the one time I went in when my boss was looking for, was it Thanksgiving? Yeah, I want to say it was Thanksgiving plates. And I asked if, oh, no, I know it. Well, the Thanksgiving plates, that was a whole disaster. But this was the worst. I was looking for gingerbread houses. Now, online, they said they had them, and at this store. So I went in, and I'm looking. And the person said, I can only see gingerbread cookie, kits. So, and I might have already told the story, so I apologize if I have. So I went, and they said, oh, no, I asked someone at the register, one of the registers, or was filling stuff at the registers, and I think he was directing people where to go, because it was busy around Christmas time. And I said, oh, gingerbread house. He said, oh, over A1 or something like that. So I go over, and I don't say it again. I say gingerbread cookies to be decorated or whatever. So I say to this woman, oh, I'm looking for gingerbread house kits. Where can I find them? And she's like, oh, right there. And I was like, no, those are gingerbread cookie kits. I need gingerbread house kits. Well, we don't have them. That's right there is what we have. I said, okay, well, that's not what I'm looking for. Well, those are gingerbread cookies kits. And I'm like, okay, but I'm looking for gingerbread houses. So, like I said, haven't had good experiences when I've been there. So, except the guy that directed me to A1, but of course it wasn't gingerbread houses, or maybe they were there at that time. He didn't know they were there. And this one guy tonight that went in the back, went the extra mile. I wish I got his name, because I would have went on their website and said how helpful he was. But so that's that. I have been, very active in my New Jersey meetup group. I'm looking forward to the 16th. I'm like, it seemed like so far away, but I think it's only 4 weeks. Is it 4 weeks from today? Yeah, the 2nd. It's the 2nd next week, the 9th, and then the 16th. Oh, 3 weeks. So it's going faster than, And so I'm looking very forward to that. I'm getting people that are guys that are messaging me and friend requesting me. And it was put on the thing that people are complaining that men are you're not to reach. If you haven't had a personal interaction with a person in the group, you're not to message them and you're not to friend request them. So, I haven't answered them. I'm like, these are the rules. You're not supposed to message me. You're not supposed to friend request me. So I haven't said, deleted the friend request, but I just ignored them. So that was that. And last night when we were out, my friend, someone that, works with her, passed away suddenly. He went in, he was having back pain, and then they had to operate and do something. And then from there, his fluid was building up in his body. And then he had a heart attack and died, 61 years old, actually a day shy of his 61st birthday. So today's his birthday. So how sad is that? And he just retired in 2019, and he works with my friend part-time, and just to give himself something to do. And then a guy that grew up in our neighborhood, I don't know if he was the same age, but he was within the same age group as me, died. I don't know what the story was there. Someone posted it, and someone was like, oh my God. And so that's like weird. And then my boss got a call that this guy, who was in his early 60s also, so that's 3. But the weird part was the 2 guys that died yesterday were both Jimmy. And both from the same town. So that's kind of freaky. And my friend from grammar school, high school, we're kind of keep in touch on Facebook, but she doesn't live in the state anymore. That was her ex-husband. And she said, I don't have a bad thing to say about him. Great guy, blah, 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 all this stuff. And I was like, wow. I'm floored, because I'm like, oh my God. So he was in around our age, and Jesus, crazy scary. Just hearing too much of this more and more. And again, I reiterate, sorry, can't speak, it's late, to guys and girls, do not ghost people. Because go back to that story where my friend thought this guy, after like 3 months of being together or whatever, and he went off to Maryland to Thanksgiving to his sisters. When he got there, didn't feel good. And she took him to the hospital, and I guess that's how bad he was. And he had a heart attack and was in ICU, and then had another, and then major, massive heart attack, and killed him. Which killed him. So she's thinking oh my God, he's going to ghost me after all this time. He's ignoring me. I don't understand this. Well, the guy died. So cruise guy, I was thinking, oh my gosh, this could have happened. Well, no, because I went on his Facebook, which he's public, because he popped up, someone you might know, and I wasn't going to friend request him. And so I saw that he went on his cruise, and I didn't see anything. Then boom, I knew when he was going on his next cruise. And sure enough, on train to New York for my next cruise. And I'm like, thanks a lot, because I am thinking this guy has some health issues, and not major, but you just never know. These guys, the one guy that went in the hospital and then had to have a surgery, and then he built up with fluid and stuff, and then had a heart attack and died from a heart attack. He didn't have health issues. So what the hell? And I don't know the circumstances behind the other guy that grew up in my neighborhood, how he died. And same thing, my boss, that a guy he worked with, early 60s, he worked on a job with him. Like, he was in, I don't know what involvement he was, but he got to know him through the, working at this school or whatever place it was where we had won the bid, and just last year, and massive heart attack and died. So it could happen to women too, like a friend of my sister's. She went to the ER. The next day they said they had to operate, so they operated, and she was fine. And they said, oh, she had to wear one of those colostomy bags, but they'll reverse it and all this stuff. And okay. Well, turn around, and by Sunday, she is on life support and septic, and by Monday, sorry, there's no coming out of this, no coming back from this. And they all decided she wouldn't want to live that way. So on Tuesday, made the choice to take her off life support, and she died. So the weekend before, she was at her granddaughter's Sweet 16, dancing, everything's fine. And then gets really sick, the following Friday. And by Tuesday, she died. So, she was married. So, she wouldn't be ghosting anybody. But I'm saying, you just never know. So women and men, do not ghost people, because, you just never know. And if somebody is seeing somebody, like my friend, this guy who died, he died on, I don't know, Friday. And they had the funeral Monday. And she calls him Monday night to explain. Well, hello. Call her, not right away, but, not Friday when he died, or Thursday night. I don't know if he died Thanksgiving night or Friday morning after Thanksgiving, but reach out to her, even if it's a text. Hey, this is his sister. He's in the hospital. She was calling and texting, he's in the hospital, give me a call. So you don't say he's dead, say, oh, I'm really sorry. I didn't want to tell you through a text, but I wanted you to call me. I'm very sad to say, and this is what happened. Okay, I just figured you should know. And that's that. So there's been a lot of discussions on, would you date someone with kids if you had no kids? And so many women and men who said, I didn't want kids, or it wasn't in the cards for me. But I have no problem dating with someone with kids. And I'm like, I dated someone, was in a long-term relationship with someone, and he did not have kids. Through no fault of his own. It just didn't work out because he didn't meet someone, and, he got divorced and then didn't meet someone in enough time. And she didn't want kids. And then, they'll wait. And then by then getting divorced and whatever. So he was good. My kids were teens then, showed them the car, like how to check your oil, how to, change a tire, the things you would need, and which their father didn't even teach them. So, and I said this, and I said, so I know some people will not date someone with kids. And some said, well, if they're like teenage years, like 12 and up, yes. So one woman said, well, as long as they're self-sufficient, yes, I would date a guy, but not if they're real young kids, like baby toddlers. And so I get that, because at this stage of my life, I wouldn't either. And so that's one of the discussions. Another discussion can't remember the other, but there's so many. And this is why I like this group, because people are asking questions, guys and girls. And it's about, profile pictures. Why do people, oh, I can't stand the blurry pictures. There's only one photo and it's not real good. The ones with every picture has sunglasses. Yeah. And some of these people lying about their age. I've showed this woman's picture because she says in her thing, introduction to her, that she's 51. And I'm like, I'd buy 61, but I'm not buying 51. And anybody, guys and girls, I've shown the picture and they're like 60s, mid 60s, maybe. And they're like, look at the wrinkles, look at the thing. She's got heavy makeup, trying to, and like they zoomed in and they're like, yeah, I might buy 61, but I'm not buying 51. And some guys too. And I'm like, oh my God, is he kidding me with how old he's saying he is? I'm like, oh no. But even on the dating sites, they're like that. And there's no sense lying, because if in a meetup or whatever, it's no sense lying any time. There's no really point to lying. But lying about your age when you're going to, online, you're going to meet someone and they're going to figure it out. Or on this meetup, like that's the point, is to meet up, mix and mingle, singles. And you're going to kind of figure it out, I would think. And especially get to know someone and say, oh, I'm really not 51. I'm 61. To me, that's not a big deal. But to someone that maybe is 48 and thinking this guy's 51 and he's 61, that might be a big deal to them. And I know someone that met someone and he was about 15 years older than her. 15, 16. And it was a big deal to her because, at the time, I want to say he was 60 and she was 45. He might have been a little over 60. And it was a big deal to her. She's like, well, he'll be retiring soon and all this. And, he's older. And, when they're older, they start to have health issues. She's like, if he was 55, well, maybe. But, he's probably 62, maybe even. So, yeah. I mean, he looks right for his age, but she just couldn't do it. And she thought he was a nice guy and everything, but she's like, he won't talk about his age. And then finally she asked someone that knew his true age, and she's like, I can't do it. I just can't do it. So, but is that an issue for you? Age, men and women. Like, I can't see myself dating someone that is 15 years younger than me. I always feel as a woman, and I know it's old-fashioned way of thinking, and it's kind of sexist, but I feel the guy should be, a year or two younger than me doesn't bother me, but get 5 years younger, maybe, would depend. Any more than that, no. Someone, I'm going to be 58, so 65 is my cutoff, and that's if they look good for, I've saw some guys that have written to me, and they're like 63, and they look like 73, 74, and I'm like, and they did smoke at one time, and I'm like, oh, you don't smoke? No, I quit like 15 years ago. That does make people look older. So, age, do you have a problem with age? Height is something that was just asked, and I said I'm 5'8", a little slightly over 5'8", and 5'7". I've met some guys 5'7" that it didn't bother me. I think because they were stockier, you know, one guy, he had shorter legs and a longer body. That kind of bothered me, his height. So I think because his legs were shorter, I have to say, the guys that are 5'7" that I've met that it didn't bother me, I think they had longer legs and like a shorter body. So that's why it did. And they had a bigger build. One guy was 5'7" and he was like pretty proportionate with his legs, but he was skinny, really skinny. And I just felt uncomfortable. I felt like this big, huge woman, especially being taller and everything. So that did bother me. So I wouldn't go below 5'7". I wouldn't meet someone that's below 5'7". And one guy actually was 5'8", and I said, "Are you really 5'7"? And he said, "No, I'm really 5'8", but I put 5'7" because I prefer someone that is, you know, my height or shorter." And I said, "Well, you realize I'm 5'8". And he said, "Yeah, I know, but for some reason I feel attracted to you, like reading your profile, what you wrote and everything." So I was like, "Oh, okay." And then someone with children or not, or doesn't have children. Someone, a lot of people tell me, "Oh, never married, doesn't have kids, doesn't get it." I think some don't, but you can't lump them all into that category. So I'm sure that's the same with women. I find, though, divorced and no children, I find that they get it more, and I don't know why. And but I'm not opposed to never married, no children. I just find that, you can't, some don't get it, some do get it, some are great, some aren't. So I get it. So I can't lump all of them into that category. So how do you feel? Kids, no kids. I also, what was some of the other? Height, kids, no kids. There was one they just asked men. I can't remember what it is, but I really like it because there's a lot of interesting questions. I've asked some questions and got some flack for some of it. Didn't get flack for, one, great. So I think just the one I got the flack for the name thing. But to each his own. I mean, no one can tell me that it's, I just asked people how they feel. Some are like, "Oh, no, not my father's name, not my brother's names, not my kids' names, or I have a lot of this name in my family, just can't do it. There for a while I was meeting a guy with the same name, meaning every guy I was meeting had the same name or every other guy, and where the guys that I click with were Marks." And she's like, "I'm done with that name. It just has scarred me. I will swipe left if I see that name." So, and I have tried with my one brother's name because, like I said, they go by a nickname with the first letter of their name. And that has, so, I mean, for a little while, it worked, but it just didn't work because it just didn't work, not because of their name. It just, wasn't a good connection after that. So, well, I see I've gone on very long and it is late. Need to go wash my face, brush my teeth, take my medicine, then brush my teeth and go to bed. So I'm going to say goodnight. And I walked into that bar last night. It was an American Legion bar. But I walked in and I looked straight at my friends because in the book, the rules, it says, and I walked in there with my head high, and I was like, confident. And in the car, I practiced. I said, any guy would be lucky. Well, there was no one in there worth anything, but it was a good way to test it. But all right. Hope everybody's weekend is going good. I hope your Sunday goes great. And I hope your work week starts great. And you might hear from me again tomorrow. Talk to you later. Bye.